to an extra subscriber recommended video. Oh, what was it? Cardboard. What was it? Small box, cardboard box. Small fish. What was it? Small fish, big fish, cardboard box. Oh, what was it? It was back in the day. Big box, small box. Fish, no. Small fish, big fish, cardboard box. I'm sure it was something like that. I never fully understood that. What was it for? It doesn't matter anyway. So Luxinda got in touch. I was trying to find the screenshot of the message, but I can't find it anywhere, or the comment. But Luxinda got in touch, wanted me to try out a resin tumbler, which I was quite skeptical about, because I've seen Luxinda do them before, and I always think they look very complicated. However, Luxinda gave us a phone call, and said that if I don't try to make one of these resin tumblers, she's going to fly over to the UK, break my legs, slit my throat, and burn the house down. So I've got no choice. I've got no choice in the matter. My life is on the line. Luxinda is going to fly over and murder us. Obviously that was a joke. That was a complete joke. Luxinda is the most lovely person I've ever spoken to in my entire life. Do not send her nasty things at all. She's lovely. But she did reassure me that it's quite a simple process, and it's basically one of these things that as soon as you get your head around it and you've done it once, you can just go wild with it. You can go crazy with it. So I'm going to be following one of your videos, Luxinda, and if it all goes wrong, we're not going to blame me. I'm not going to blame me at all. We'll blame Luxinda. Joking, don't blame Luxinda. She's so nice. Okay, so Luxinda uploaded a video called So You Want to Make Resin Tumblers, Start With This. And it's a very basic tutorial on how to make a resin tumbler. And nothing's kind of skipped over, so it's a very easy video to follow. Also, if you're not aware who Luxinda is, which I'm pretty sure all my viewers are, but Luxinda has two channels. She has one where she does varied arts and crafts, and she has a second one dedicated to loads and loads of different kinds of tumblers. She obviously knows a lot more about it than I do, so I would highly recommend checking out Luxinda's channel if you haven't already. I'll leave some links below. Okay, let's get into this video.
Other people go full head.
Excuse me, how kinky.
Hey everybody, Luxinda Swirl here. New day, new Tumbler project. Alright, so I was having a chat online last night with Anthony Crammon. I'm trying to convince him because he mentioned that he thought he might give resin tumblers a go at some point.
I was thinking about creating a tumbler like what Luxinda does, but
So I was urging him along.
Come on, do it. Do it.
Gently, not pressuring.
Lies. She threatened me with violence. Remember what I said? It wasn't gentle. She threatened me with violence.
The way I do. And one of his comments was, it looks like I have a lot of stuff. And it's true. I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and I have accumulated a crap ton of equipment and supplies and tools and all sorts of things that I use to make resin tumblers with. However, in the interest of helping people who are thinking about it but not sure, I would recommend a very, very simple beginner tumbler that doesn't require a lot of stuff.
That sounds perfect, and that sounds like exactly what I need.
So that's what we're going to do today. This is going to be a beginner's alcohol ink tumbler. You will need a tumbler turner. These are all over Amazon.
I got it. I got one.
This is a very basic one. The motor turns at 3 RPM. It has obviously one arm. It doesn't easily come out. You sort of have to twist it, and I use a Dollar Tree.
I assume I don't need one of them ball things on the end of mine, because mine came with like this black sponge, which I assume keeps everything in place. Also, by the way, I will say, Luxinda was mentioning that these tumbler things are all over Amazon. If you're in the UK, these are hard to find on Amazon. I think mine cost me about 40 quid and it took ages to arrive. So if you're in the States, these might be freely available, but in the UK, I struggled to get one, but it's fine, it eventually arrived.
There are lots of different ways to make the arm secure in the tumbler. I do recommend a level, so you can make sure your tumbler is level before you proceed with applying resin.
I didn't buy a level. Do I need a level? Is that a step I can skip? Because even if I did the level thing, I wouldn't know whether it was actually level, because I'm not very good at measuring stuff. Nah, I'll skip that bit.
Besides that, you're going to need a tumbler. You can get those on Amazon.
Got it! I got a tumbler.
From all sorts of different actual tumbler suppliers. This happens to be from Makerflow, but that's because I go through a lot of tumblers. I have taken this one and I've spray painted it matte white.
I didn't need to spray mine white because it already arrived white, so I skipped a step because I'm lazy. crazy.
Get yourself some alcohol inks in colors you like. There are so many different kinds available on Amazon.
Oh, I forgot my alcohol inks. I've got some of them, one sec. Got them. I've got loads of packs of alcohol inks and I don't know why. I think I've got about 3 different kinds. Why have I got so many alcohol inks for? They come in handy.
I have 2 from Woody's Goodies. This is Grapesicle and Coconut Blackberry, a deep purple and a much lighter purple. And then from Marabou, I have 2 different blues. I have aqua blue and, well, technically aqua green. I have 2 aquas. And I also have Marabou's Deep White. The white goes on top of the colors and will actually, because it's denser, because it has opaque white pigment in it, it will move things around even more. And the idea here is you put your colors on, you put your white on, you hit it with some heat, and I do that with an embossing heat gun. It's about $10 on Amazon.
Got one of them. Got it. Got a heat gun. I do have a heat gun, but mine's broken, so I bought a new one.
So get everything on the cup, hit it with some heat, maybe tip it up and down, get the colors and the white to start moving around and change direction. Most of these turners, you change direction by turning it off and then turning it right back on. Sometimes you have to do that a couple of times. Switches direction. Other than that, you need resin. We are going to use today Tumbler's coating epoxy, which is from the epoxy resin store.
Got some resin. I couldn't find the ones that Lucinda recommended because, well, I looked on Amazon and they didn't sell them. That's the one I've bought. And it said this was suitable for tumblers and coating things, so I assume it'll be fine.
But it's available through Amazon, so it's easy for everybody.
It's not in the UK. I checked. It's not. It might be in the US, but not in the UK. Why do we have different Amazons? Why can't the Amazon just be the same for everyone?
Some of the ones on Amazon, while they may be cheaper, tend to be so thin, so low viscosity, that they form great big hunkin' fish eyes when you put alcohol inks on them. I wouldn't necessarily recommend those for a beginner cup, but the Tumbler's coating epoxy works really well. KS Art Resin works really well.
Mine says premium epoxy resin, so it's not cheap and shitty, so I don't think I'll get fish eyes. I'll be fine.
Only a 20-ounce tumbler, so I'm only going to need 15 to 20 milliliters of resin, but I'm going to mix a little more than that. Always want to have more, not less. I have a mold.
I don't measure. It's very rare I measure out things, so I'll just wing it.
And we're going to make a tumbler. To me, in my opinion, this is the easiest tumbler to make. It also requires the least amount of stuff. So here we go.
I should really be paying attention, not dancing away. Yeah, so it looks like we're smearing resin onto the surface of the tumbler once it's mixed up, and I assume you want like a thin coat. And then apparently there's no rules for applying your ink. You can go crazy with it, do what you want. I think I might try and pick a similar colour scheme as Lucinda's got a blue, a purple, a green and a white. My ink isn't as fancy as Lucinda's. Lucinda's looks very fancy. And then you want white on after all your colours. Okay. To be fair, nothing's scaring us about this at the moment. I feel like I can do it. And then we're blasting it with the heat to get the resin moving. Alright, okay, I see. And then we can tilt it to get movement and obviously make the alcohol inks go in different directions. That's fun. And then you cover in the tumbler so none of the dust gets on top of it. One thing I'm curious though is when you put your tumbler on the spinning machine, does it have to spin on the machine forever? Because I sleep in this room. I sleep over that side and I don't want this making noise and turning while I'm trying to sleep.
Keep the noise down.
Oh, it's fine. I'll enjoy the noise. It's okay.
Look at how beautiful that is. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. Look at that. That is absolutely flippin' stunning. We have lacing. That is just gorgeous.
It's beautiful, Lucinda. It's gorgeous. Okay, I feel like I can do that. After watching Lucinda's very thorough video on how to make one from start to finish, I don't feel like I've got any issues. I think I can do this. Okay, so I want something to protect my table. I'll just use a bit of cardboard. I don't have a fancy mat like Lucinda does. Squeeze that in like that. Right, now we'll set up this little machine. I hope I do well, and I hope my tumbler looks great, because I want Lucinda to be proud of it. Right, so shove this on here. Screw that in place. I haven't even checked to see if this works. And it better work because it cost me a fortune. Okay, I don't think mine goes the opposite way. Mine only spins one way. Oh wait, no, is that going a different way? Oh, no, it goes 2 different ways. Okay. It doesn't have any other speeds. Actually, that's really quiet. I could sleep through that, that's fine. It doesn't make any noise. Now, let's see if my tumbler fits onto here. How on earth? How is your tumbler supposed to fit onto this thing? I think you just need to force it. Oh yeah. Fits on fine.
Please don't break it.
Just gotta use force. I feel like I've broke that. No, I haven't. It's fine. Well, that's 100% absolutely not level. Have I broke it? I think I might have been a little bit too aggressive with it, and I think I broke the actual thing. Yeah, because it's lost its height now, and it sags. I'm gonna have to make do. Don't force your sponge into your cup. I've proper wrecked that. I think Lucinda said that you'll get fish eyes if it's not even, so I might end up getting fish eyes on mine. Do I mind fish eyes? I don't think I do. So now I just need to mix resin up. At the end of the day, I would rather have too much resin than not enough. I wonder who invented making tumblers, like painting them and resining them and stuff. I feel like Starbucks started that off because everyone was obsessed with customizing Starbucks like tumblers and stuff, weren't they? I feel like that's where it began. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Okay, so I've got my resin mixed up. I'll get this turned on first. Okay, and then Lucinda just kind of poured this on and just mashed it in. Okay. Oh, this is easy. It feels weird doing this with resin. It feels dangerous. Like just be touching it and everything. I don't know. I feel naughty. Right, that looks fully covered to me. I can't see any gaps, any spaces, nothing dodgy. Okay, so now we just add alcohol ink all over this and there are no rules. I absolutely love no rules. Oh my god, this is so fun. I just wish my little machine hadn't broken because it's definitely struggling. I can tell it's struggling. Okay, we'll go for a bit of purple, and my alcohol inks don't have fancy names. It's just called purple. Right, and we'll go for a bit of blue as well. So I've done the colours. Mine looks exactly like Lucinda's. Almost. Okay, so now it's white time. Give it a good shake. And then we just add bits of this wherever we want it to be. I wonder why we add white. I kind of liked it without the white, but I'm just going to do as I'm told. I'm just going to add that much because I like all the colours. And then heat gun, and we're blasting all of these around. I don't want to mix it too much because I feel like it's just going to go all one colour. Right, I'm going to stop like that because I'm pretty pleased with it. So I think I'm done. That was actually really, really easy. Apart from obviously me breaking the stupid tumbler turner. Other than that, it was so simple. Lucinda was right. There was nothing to be scared of. So I'll find a box, I'll get this covered, and I'll leave it overnight. And then we can come back tomorrow and have a little grand reveal. Okay, so it's the next day. Thankfully, I didn't need to keep my tumbler turner on all night because this resin set, I think just before bedtime. So about like 11 o'clock. But as you can see as well, because I've broken this tumbler spinner thing, I've had to like prop it up with some lollipop sticks and stuff. Mainly because it was all tilting and all the colour was like going all the way along and just dropping off. It went a bit weird and crazy, but I feel like I fixed it. And I also added some more colours while it was spinning because they all slipped off. Right, but let's get this off, see what it looks like. I definitely think Lucinda's setup with her little rugby ball at the end is a much better thing than what I've got. Oh, there we go. Oh, some of the sponges stuck to the inside of the cup. Oh dear. But that looks beautiful. Oh. So there it is. There's my gorgeous resin tumbler. How lovely is that? I don't know all the technical terms for like feathering and fish eyes and stuff, so I don't know whether mine has any of that or whether it has any kind of fancy stuff happening on it, but it looks very, very nice. I love the colours. Obviously I've had an issue at the top part where a bit of the sponge is kind of resin to the inside of here, so I'll have to cut that off. But other than that, that's well nice, isn't it? For my first attempt, I think I've done a pretty good job. I can totally understand why Lucinda makes these as well. They're really, really nice. They're just so beautiful to look at. But a couple of things I've learned from me making my first tumbler is if you buy one of these turners with a big foam thing, cut the foam down. I didn't even think of that, but I could have cut the foam down so it fit into the tumbler way easier rather than kind of squishing it in, forcing it in, and then wrecking my little turner. Secondly, I should have listened to Lucinda because I feel like measuring your resin is important because I've wasted so much resin. I think I used way too much. And thirdly, again, I should have listened to Lucinda and made sure that my tumbler was perfectly straight and flat, because what happens is it kind of like it shakes and then it drips off and stuff. So if it's not perfectly straight as it's spinning, everything's going to either slop off that way, slop off the other way. So it kind of has to be accurate. I think I made mistakes by breaking my tumbler turner. I think that's what happened. I just don't know my own strength sometimes. I don't realise how how much of a beast I am. But anyway, that just about does it for today's video. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And let me know what you think of my little tumbler. I would advise though, if you want to make one of these, don't follow my video or follow my kind of tutorial, even though it wasn't a tutorial. I would suggest you go and watch Lucinda's videos because she knows her shit. But if I can do it from watching Lucinda, anyone can. So go do one, go make a tumbler. And if you can't be asked to make a tumbler and you really like them and you like the look of them, which I don't blame you because they're amazing, I'm pretty sure Lucinda has an Etsy shop where she sells all her designs. I'll put a link on the screen if I find it. Go buy yourself one. Drink coffee all day long. Drink coffee in style. And I'll see you next week for a brand new video. I genuinely thought this was gonna go really tits up and wrong, but no, I've done so well today. Oh my god, what's happening?